AI, ChatGPT, and content creation. What direct sellers and network marketers should and shouldn't be doing. Hello, my lovelies. Today we are talking about something that is becoming a really big topic in the online space right now. AI. ChatGPT, AI image creation, AI video tools, Canva AI, content generators. And honestly, I think this conversation is so important for women in direct selling and network marketing right now. Because what I'm seeing is women are either completely avoiding AI because it feels confusing or intimidating, or they're using it in a way that is actually hurting their personal brand without even realizing it. And I really want to help you navigate this properly. So my lovelies, get excited, listen on, and don't forget to tag a friend, share this with a friend, depending on where you are watching or listening to this, because AI is not going away, right? And in fact, it's becoming a bigger part of online business every single day. And I truly believe women who learn how to use it strategically are going to have a huge advantage moving forward. But, and this is important, you never want AI to replace you, right? Because in direct selling and network marketing, people buy from people, right? Not robots, not generic captions, not content that sounds exactly like everybody else. So today I want to talk honestly about what AI is amazing for, what you should avoid, how to use it the right way, and why authenticity matters even more now than ever before. And honestly, this is something I've done a lot of workshops and training around inside of my Beehive membership program, because there really is a right and wrong way to approach this. But I wanted to give you my thoughts, give you my suggestions, and you will walk away with some great tips from this podcast episode today. So let's dive in, right? So starting off, AI is a tool, right? But it's not a magic fix, okay? And I think this is the first thing that we really need to understand, that AI is a tool, right? It is not a magic solution. It's not going to fix everything, right? And I think some women are hoping that ChatGPT is going to suddenly build their business for them. But it doesn't work like that, right? AI can absolutely help you. It can help you save time, simplify things, create ideas, improve consistency, etc. But it cannot replace relationship building, conversations, connection, trust, and authenticity, right? And it definitely cannot replace consistent action, okay? Because at the end of the day, you still need to show up. You still need to build relationships. You still need to start conversations. You still need to follow up. You still need to learn the right strategies to be using on Facebook and for sales and recruiting. And this is really important because I think sometimes women are looking for the shortcut, right? But there really isn't a shortcut to building trust with people, right? And that part still matters enormously. AI can help you work smarter, but it cannot replace you. And honestly, that's actually a really good thing, right? Because you are your biggest advantage. Your personality, your story, your experiences, your energy, your journey. That's the part people connect with, right? But let's talk about what AI is amazing for. So with all of that being said, AI can absolutely can be incredible when you use it properly, right? Honestly, I do use it all the time, right? Not to replace my ideas, but to support my ideas. And that's the key difference, right? One of the biggest ways AI helps women is by removing that blank page syndrome. Do you know what I mean by that? Blank page syndrome, where you're sitting there staring at your phone thinking, what do I even post today, right? Or, if you are, one of our super organized women, let me know in the comments, depending on where you're watching or listening to this. If you're actually getting there and creating your social media content plan, which I'm totally believe that's something you should be doing. It makes your life so much easier. But even so, you might still be sitting there going, right, I need to plan out, a week's worth of content, or this month's all the content for this month. And you might still be sitting there going, I have no idea what to do. Right? I have no idea what to talk about, no idea what to cover, all those sorts of things, right? So it can definitely absolutely help you because, you're not sort of having, time disappear out of, and we've never got enough time really. And you still haven't created anything. You still haven't created just your content plan, or you still haven't created your post, your content, scheduled anything out, etc. Right? And AI can help massively with that. What is it amazing for? It is amazing for brainstorming ideas, for helping you write captions, for helping you write great hooks, for giving you some really great concepts for your reels. If you're doing emails, it can absolutely help you with ideas for your emails. It can help you structure content. It can help you with repurposing content, planning content, simplifying your thoughts, right? And honestly, for many women, it helps build confidence around content creation because they're no longer starting from scratch, right? And I think that's really powerful. If you agree with me, let me know. Because so many women do waste so much time overthinking, right? Trying to make everything perfect. And perfectionism is often what stops women from being consistent, right? But consistency matters more than perfection. Done is better than perfect, right? If you've been hanging out in my world for a while, I am sure you've heard me say to you, done is better than perfect, right? Nobody sees the posts that are like still sitting in drafts or still sitting on a piece of paper, right? Or the Canva images that you haven't posted yet, right? Nobody sees that, right? And you've got to show up consistently on social media, right? And AI can absolutely help women become more consistent if they use it properly, all right? And that's the key part, right? I want to talk into the biggest mistake I see women are making, when it comes to using AI right now. And probably the biggest mistake I think I'm seeing is really about copying and pasting content word for word, right? And honestly, I'm sure you've seen it as well, whether you're guilty of doing this or whether you've noticed others doing it, right? You can often tell, can't you, right? And I think this is where women really need to be careful, because if your content suddenly sounds robotic or generic or completely different to the way that you normally speak, people feel that disconnect, right? Especially in direct selling and network marketing. If you want to stand out from the crowd, right, you've got to still sound and look, for the most part, right, like your authentic you, right? If you all heard me talk about being a purple cow in a field of dairy cows, let me know. Something I talk about quite a lot. Direct selling and network marketing, this industry is built on connection and trust, right? And trust is built through authenticity, okay? And this is why I always say that AI should support your voice, not replace it, right? You've got to put your personality into what you're doing on social media. For most of you, that's primarily Facebook, right? And because your audience still wants your stories, your experiences, your personality, your humor, your opinions, your journey, right? That's what makes you memorable. That is what is going to make you stand out from the crowd. That's what's going to make you be a purple cow in a field of dairy cows, right? And And I honestly think that now that more women are using AI, authenticity actually matters even more because generic content is popping up everywhere, right? And the women who stand out are the women who still feel human online, right? And I really want you to hear that. I want you to hear that loud and clear because your uniqueness, right, is your superpower. Not sounding polished and perfect, right? Personal branding matters, right? That's being a purple cow in a field of dairy cows. If you've not heard me talking about being a purple cow, let me quickly explain it. At the end of the day, there are hundreds, thousands, millions of places that people can go and purchase either exactly what you are offering or something very similar. What makes the difference? You make the difference, right? So your personality, what you share, how you show up, the customer service you provide, etc., etc. You've got to stand out from the crowd. You've got to stand out from everybody else. And that's what I mean when I say you've got to be a purple cow in a field of dairy cows. You've got to stand out, right? The personal branding, it really does matter even more than ever because AI is so prevalent, right? It's so there, right? It is making AI, the use of AI is making personal branding more important, not less, right? Because and look, this is something I teach a lot inside of my Beehive program because it matters so much, right? We've done loads of workshops and discussions around using AI, but how do you still, keep your personal branding going on, right? And we've done loads of trainings on personal branding as well, right? Because your personal brand, that is how people experience you. It's what they think of you. It's how you make them feel. And it's what makes you different, right? Purple cow in a field of dairy cows, right? And AI cannot create genuine connection for you. You create that, right? And you create that through sharing your stories, your values, what you put out there, your energy. Your energy is really, it can really come across really well in lives. So if you're doing Facebook lives or if you're doing speaking reels, right, that's where people really get a sense of your energy. Your consistency, your vulnerability, and your real life experiences, right? And this is why I encourage women to not hide behind generic content, right? Don't hide behind company generated images, okay? Because people connect with real people, right? Not perfection, not corporate sounding captions or content, not content that feels copy and pasted, right? It needs to feel real, right? And some of the most powerful content is often the simplest, in all honesty, right? It is the most relatable and it is the most human. I just need a sip of water for those who are just listening, not watching. So I also want to talk into AI image creation and video tools because I think even more so that is becoming even bigger, right? We've had ChatGPT for a couple of years, whether you've been using it for that long or not. I've been using ChatGPT for 3 years, 4 years. I've been teaching it inside my Beehive program for that time as well, right? But the image creation and the video tools, this is something that is becoming more and more prevalent over this last year or so, right? And so I want to talk about that next because it is an area that's growing so quickly right now. And honestly, some of it's incredible, right? I don't know whether, you jumped on the Met Gala prompt that was going around a few weeks back. If you're watching this a long time after I recorded it, we're in the middle of May. It's I can't even think what date it is, but we're in May, right? And the Met Gala over in the USA happened at the start of the month, start of May, and I think it was May. I don't know. Where does time go? I really actually don't know. And there was everybody jumped on. I jumped on and had to play with it. It was great fun creating images using a particular prompt to create this image of you being at the Met Gala ball, right? And that's fun, and you can create all sorts of fun images, right? You've got different ways that you can do it. There's lots of different apps and providers and stuff. You can do image creation inside ChatGPT. Leonardo is one that I've been playing with. You've got Canva AI, and there's a lot of sort of AI video movement tools as well. And they can create amazing visuals and really creative content. Like as I say, I loved my Met Gala stuff. It was so like what the outfits that they put, Leonardo put me in after I put the chat in there, like the prompt in there and everything. It was just crazy. I loved it. And I actually used it for some reels too, right? Turned it into video content, which is really fun. And I think it is a really exciting space, right? And especially for women who maybe don't always feel super creative themselves. Maybe you are a little bit shy about showing up on camera. These are great tools, right? And it can really help bring ideas to life visually, right? It can be amazing for your branding, for creating reels, for helping with storytelling, for creating some visuals, all sorts of different type of content, right? You can use it for so many different things, right? I've seen lots of you actually creating like product flyers with it as well, right? Something you want to be careful of that is, again, they all look very, very similar, right? Okay, we want personal branding, right? You need to stand out from the crowd, right? But again, there is a line, okay? And I think women need to be careful not to create a completely fake version of themselves online, right? Because eventually people will tune out, right? If your online presence feels completely manufactured, it can actually hurt trust, right? People don't feel like they can relate to that, right? They don't feel like they can resonate with that, right? And honestly, trust is everything in this industry. You've got to be building know, like, and trust, because it's when people feel like they know, like, and trust you that they are going to buy from you, that they are going to recommend you, that they will book events with you if that's something you offer. That's when they're going to like sign up as VIP customers or join your team, etc. Right? When they feel that know, like, and trust with you, right? So yes, use AI creatively. Have fun with it, right? It should be fun. And I want you to find social media fun, right? If you're trying to use Facebook to grow your direct selling or network marketing business, I don't want you to feel like it's a chore, right? I want you to enjoy it. You need to be able to enjoy it, right? To make the most of it, right? But you do need to use it strategically if you're using AI to help you, because you don't want to lose the real you in the process, right? Because your audience connects with you far more than a perfect AI generated life, right? If your life looks absolutely perfect, people don't connect. They don't resonate with that, right? Because guess what? Nobody's life is perfect, right? Absolutely nobody's life is perfect. And if your life looks perfect, then people find it hard to connect with that, to resonate with that, right? Because that's what still matters the most, right? And what I want to leave you with today, right, is that no matter how advanced AI becomes, the fundamentals of building a successful direct selling or network marketing business have not changed, right? You still need relationships, conversations, trust, consistency, visibility, confidence, the right strategies for Facebook, for sales and recruiting, right? And honestly, this is where many women still need support, right? They're still trying to figure it all out, right? Because content alone doesn't build a business, right? Because if you don't know the right sort of content to be sharing, it's not going to resonate, right? It's not going to work for you, right? You also need to know how to be attracting the right people, right? Attraction marketing. You need to know how to build know, like, and trust. You need to know how to create engagement. You need to know how to move conversations forward naturally and how to build your personal brand properly as well. And I often say strategy matters, right? The strategy is what is the really important factor, understanding what are the right strategies, right? you don't want to just be posting for the sake of posting, right? It's like, the old, putting something out there and hoping it works, right? It's like throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping it sticks, right? You got to know the right strategies. You got to know how you go about connecting with people, how you go about resonating with people, I love that, so many of you are listening to my podcast, and I know I've got some of my Beehive members, programmers that love listening to my podcast as well, and there's so many women out there who are now listening to my podcast. Please feel free to share me with your direct selling and network marketing friends if what you listen to in my podcast you find valuable and interesting and informative and you're learning and all those sorts of things. But of course I do go deeper into all of these things and everything that I talk about in my podcast. The thing that's different inside of my Beehive program is I go a lot deeper into helping you understand how this all works. And then also the accountability and the support as well, right? Goes on inside my Beehive. And we've actually been doing, we actually created a whole bunch of ChatGPT prompts to help my Beehive program members with creating content. Just the other week, we did a workshop this month, because I do fresh workshops every month, was all around actually, how to better use ChatGPT to help you create your content, better and faster, right? And I created them a bunch of, I think it was like 20 different prompts to help them create content and all those sorts of things, right? And, because you've got to know how to use it the right way. You've got to understand how to use AI strategically so that you can still be building authentic relationships. And that is incredibly valuable right now, right? The women who are going to win with using AI, right? The women I believe who are going to do best moving forward, they're not the women who are relying completely on AI, right? You've got to learn how to use it, and you've got to learn how to combine AI tools with your authenticity, with strategy, with relationship marketing, with personal branding. That combination, that's powerful, right? Because AI can totally help you become more efficient, right? But connection is still what will build your business, okay? And I truly don't think that's ever going to go away. People still want to feel seen. They want to still feel understood. They want to still feel those genuine connections, right? Especially in direct selling and network marketing. Relationships really are key to building a successful, a sustainable, long-term direct selling or network marketing business, right? So, if you've been feeling overwhelmed by AI lately, please don't feel like you need to master everything overnight, right? You don't need every tool. You don't need to do every trend. You simply need to learn how to use these tools strategically in a way that feels aligned with you, right? And I will say that if you don't feel like AI is for you, that's perfectly okay. You don't have to adopt it, embrace it, use it, etc., right? I know there's a lot of people out there are still very much on the fence or even fully, not for me, right? But AI can be an amazing tool, and you can use it to enhance your business, right? But not to replace your personality, right? You need to still stand out as a human online in this AI era. AI is not going anywhere, right? It is in so many parts of our lives, so many industries using it, but what is going to still keep you standing out is if you actually feel human and genuine in the online space, Facebook specifically. My lovelies, if this episode has resonated with you today, I'd love for you to share it or send me a message and let me know what stood out the most. Hopefully you are also hanging out with me in Facebook land. If you are not, there's going to be a link somewhere or other where you're listening or watching to this episode where you can find me on Facebook. But I am Penny Inches, your direct selling success coach. Thanks for listening, and I will catch you again next week. Bye.